Our next question comes from Madeline Smith with the Calgary Herald.
Hi, mayors. I'm just wondering, in the past, when other health ministers have rejected this idea, what exactly happened that led up to that? Was there just more of a consultation process that you say didn't happen here, or what was the deciding factor that made them not go with this?
All right, I'm presuming everyone will want to lead in on that, but Mayor Nenshi will have a longer history on this, but I will speak specifically to 2013. Well, it actually goes back to 2009, but I would like to speak specifically to 2013 and 2014. I will say that the people of Red Deer and region, as well as the mayors in our regional mayors caucus, our local MLAs in the region, all when we had presented our specific facts in terms of the patient outcomes in life and death situations and the efficiencies that are gained through an integrated dispatch system. Once we demonstrated those facts, it was very clear that AHS at the outset had a propensity, that's a question better put to them in terms of their long-term intentions with respect to why they want to consolidate dispatch. But it was very clear. I recall that meeting with then at the time former Minister Horn. We had multiple conversations in that window of time. He had indicated that was an AHS recommendation. We had said, with all due respect, the Minister of Health is responsible for public health policy in the interests of all Albertans, and we were able to demonstrate with the facts on the ground, as demonstrated by our service providers and specifically by our dispatchers with their shared communications in the room. And he did reverse the intention or overruled on the intention of AHS at the time. And we respectfully request that Minister Shandro would do likewise. We will be meeting with Minister Shandro, as I noted in my opening remarks, in late August, where we hope to outline the same position. But again, we're incredibly frustrated. We came to an agreement that works for all Albertans in 2013 and 2014. For us to be revisiting this yet again, as Mayor Nenshi outlined, successive health ministers have drawn the same conclusion when presented with the full integration of facts and patient outcomes. And so that's really what we're here again today. And we'll be focusing our efforts on that to hopefully get to the right outcome once again in terms of patient outcomes for Albertans in emergency situations. But I'll defer to my colleagues as well, who were around the table in previous years as we've dealt with this.
Hi again, everyone. And as I said when I gave my opening remarks, I was on both sides of this. When I was an MLA and a minister in 2013 to 2015, I was working with Minister Horn. And I can tell you that the marginal cost savings that were projected by AHS were offset by the reduction in the quality of service. That was an easy case to make, and I believe it's an easy case to make right now. We just need to make sure that everyone who's in government making this decision intends to intervene, because it absolutely does not make sense, this AHS proposal. It's never made sense, and it never will make sense. Thanks.
Yes, in Lethbridge, I have people coming up to me on a regular basis who express their satisfaction with the health services that we provide, not only to the city of Lethbridge, but to communities around us. People talk about their personal experiences where fire apparatus arrived first and saved their lives. This is something that, by working together and communicating the human side of this, I think that's most important, that we are being effective. We are effective partners with Alberta Health Services, and we believe that that should be valued, that the municipal participation and the work that we do to collaborate with Alberta Health Services is important. And we keep getting these flimsy reports and flimsy recommendations that everything should be consolidated to one center in Edmonton, where people are not familiar with the geographical areas, not familiar with the communities. will not provide data on the effectiveness of their services and will not share that and will not be accountable, they don't deserve to run a consolidated service. And while we're running an effective one, that should be respected.
You know, I'm not being cute when I say this, when I say I actually do not understand why this won't die. AHS has relied on a very flimsy report from 2013, which has been proven to be methodologically incorrect. I think I wrote a paper on what the problems with the methodology in that were. They haven't done any new research since then. Ernst Young certainly didn't do any research on this either. And to answer your question, Madeline, you know, when this was pointed out, the political side of the House in Alberta Health, as opposed to Alberta Health Services, and the minister said, well, this doesn't make any sense. And they stopped it. I do not know why AHS will not get off of it. You know, I said 4 years ago, and it was unfair, but I might say it again. I'm not sure of the last time anyone pointed to Alberta Health Services as an example of exceptional management. There's absolutely no way they could manage this better than the cities do. And in Calgary's case, when EMS moved to AHS, the costs of EMS have been astronomically higher under AHS than they were under the city of Calgary. So they won't be able to manage it better. It's worse patient outcomes, and it's going to end up costing more. So hopefully cooler heads will prevail and smarter heads will prevail on this, because I just don't understand why we have to fight this battle again and again and again.
Thank you very much. Our next question is from Tahira Farouzan with CBC. The question is for Mayor Nenshi, but would be interested in the other's response as well. AHS has said this decision would save $6 million annually, but stressed that savings was not the driver of the decision. What is the mayor's reaction to that?
It's obviously the driver of the decision because it's all they ever talk about, and they can't prove that patient outcomes would be better, and it's not going to save the money. That's been proven over and over again.
Yeah, it's nonsense. For our region, the proposed savings is $660,000. It doesn't make any financial sense. And if that's not the driver, then all the other points that we've been making today as mayors, I think, should be taken into account. And it's very obvious this decision should be reversed, or there should be an intervention. It does not make any sense. Financially, it doesn't make sense. And from a patient care perspective, it makes absolutely no sense. It's going to provide worse outcomes for patients. Thank you.
I simply think that the Ernst & Young report, the recommendation that only had input from AHS, is a flimsy excuse to build an empire within health services that really will not serve Albertans better. I think if our MLAs and our Minister of Health and the Premier want to understand is EMS dispatch on a local basis valued, come to our communities and talk to our citizens. I think there's going to be a huge backlash against the loss of service and the degradation of service when lives matter.
So I think that in terms of the ultimate intention of AHS, in terms of what's at play, that's probably a better question for AHS, for the simple reason, like Mayor Nenshi, I am hard pressed to understand why we're forced to contend with this issue once again. We remain steadfast in our position. A series of health ministers have overturned it because it simply does not make sense on the ground in terms of patient outcomes. I cannot imagine what other reason it is about. It could potentially be about, other than the proposed, and again, I air quote proposed, $5 to $6 million in savings. All of us have stipulated that our fire emergency response initiates pump code response for better patient outcomes, and is nearly half, in our case 40% of the time, first on scene. And if we're being asked to trust that AHS will deliver more timely dispatch services, we take exception to that. Again, just referring back to my opening remarks, AHS's own target dispatch time is 90 seconds. AHS's Edmonton Communication Center was 92 seconds this past quarter, below the standard that AHS themselves has set, and in the last 12 months averaged 85 seconds Red Deer consistently performs 18 to 21 seconds faster than the HS Emergency Communications Center in Edmonton. And that means that our units are dispatched 18 to 21 seconds sooner. So again, when you add dispatch time to shoot time at the station, travel time, and staging time before a patient is served, those are critical life and death seconds.
Thank you very much. I'm not seeing any further questions, so a reminder that you can raise your hand on the Teams app, or you can text your question to me at 403-333-2272. I'm seeing no further questions, so I will ask the mayors if they have any closing remarks that they would like to offer, and then we will reach the end of today's press conference.
I'd simply like to say I believe that all the mayors and all the municipalities involved
is now exiting
with Alberta Health Services and with the government of Alberta. We believe that collaboration is the secret to success, that we can maintain and enhance an effective system together. We believe that we can be effective partners. We have excellent experience. We have great local geographical knowledge. And the way to success in the future is by working together, not dividing the system and centralizing it. And we need to make sure that we're providing greater accountability for the services we provide to Albertans.
Kalisha Mendonça, Sunny 94, Lacombe Online.
Is now exiting.
I'd just like to conclude by thanking my colleagues for being such fierce advocates on this issue. This issue has been before us many, many times. It looks like AHS, is not going to let it go away, but we are going to press this. This is far from over. And I can tell you that the residents of my region are extremely unhappy with what's happening. And the more the people that hear about it, the more pressure there's going to be on this government, I believe, and there should be pressure, because this is a bad decision that needs to be reviewed and overturned. But I'd like to thank all members of the press for participating today. I'm certainly grateful for it.
And I can't really say much more than my colleagues have already said.
Now exiting.
There was an option. There was clearly what's happening here is this dropped with a letter, not with a conversation, not with a call, not with any political conversation with the government of Alberta on the Tuesday after the August long weekend, in the hopes that this wouldn't become a big story. So thank you all so much for covering it. It's a very big story, and it's one that we will continue to talk about in the days to come.
Just in concluding, I concur with my colleague mayors and thank everyone for your interest today. We appeal to our fellow Albertans and to our representatives, provincial legislature, and above all, to our Premier and to the Minister of Health to do the right thing and to review this potential decision. I'm going to be optimistic. What has been proposed by Alberta Health Services, it is not in the interest of patient outcomes in life and death emergency situations. We have an efficient system in terms of integrated dispatch that matters to people in 911. When someone calls 911, they need a swift response, and that is our ultimate objective, and we appeal to positive patient outcomes in emergency situations. Thank you, everyone, for your time.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you all so much. This will be